Hey guys, welcome to a demo. Today I want to talk about the wanted poster directions, so the actual file. Adding an image to this file that you guys have access to, how to crop that image, and then how you go about selecting a color scheme. So again, if you select this file and download it from the Google Classroom, you should have something that looks pretty similar to this, but may not have some of the arrows and bullet points that are within this particular file. Again, main things I want you to see is that you will actually design your poster in this file. The dimensions are set already to 8.5 by 11. The poster of the content will have a title. The content of the poster will have a title, your face, and a subtitle. The design requirements will also involve 2 clear uses of the blend tool, 1 clear use of the gradient tool, 1 clear use of the pen tool, and you must also use and include proof of a color scheme. Lastly, you're going to sign and date your work with at least the year, so this would be 2023. Again, just for reference, I used the blend tool on the title here, so it goes and toggles between 2 different spellings of the word title. One's yellow and the other one's pink, and I blended them evenly. And then in the background here, these lines, that's also using the blend tool as well. I've got a use of the pen tool, kind of creating this jagged line that goes through the head. And the gradient tool is both in the neck space of this figure as well as that blue rectangle at the bottom of the poster. Subtitle is 39 trillion, U.S. financial debt of 23. And the subject is the head there, which would likely be your face. Lastly, including proof of a color scheme. That's what you can see right down here, color scheme proof. And I'd recommend leaving this in the file just so you can swap out those colors on your end. And then lastly, you can see here, I've used the pencil tool to actually include a signature and the year on my poster. So incorporating all those things is just going to be the name of the game. For preparation for this design session, what I want to do is select all the things I don't need and delete them. In this case, I also have information on my directions layer, so I'm going to go ahead and make these disappear as well. They're locked. Control 3, so now they're gone. And now I'm in preparation to actually receive an image. So if I go over to the poster design that I've been working on, I'm just going to click and drag over this whole image. I can also just click on it once because it's grouped together. And I'm going to go Control C, so copy. Then I'll go back to my wanted poster file and go Control V. Now you notice many of you are going to have an image that's going to be like humongous, so it may be something like this, where it's just like really big, and it's not going to actually fit in that 8.5 by 11 space. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to zoom out, click off of the object, then click on it to select it. I like to hold Shift and then scale from one of the corners down just to make it a little bit smaller so it actually fits into the composition. Now for the purpose of like your design, you may actually want the image to get bigger, but you would like to crop it. So the question is, how do we actually crop this image? So I'm going to make my image a little bit bigger. So selecting it, scaling it out. Say I want it to like bleed off the page, but I don't like all these like ragged edges going off the image. So how do I actually crop it? Cropping is pretty simple in Illustrator. The main thing that you're going to do is, it's almost in relationship to some of the things you are revealed in the shape builder, where like if you take a shape and place it over it, that secondary object can modify the object that sits underneath it. So I'm going to go ahead and click once. In my rectangle tool, I'm going to go 8.5 by 11 and hit OK. And now I've got 8.5 by 11 rectangle in purple, and I'm just going to sit it right on top of that original image. Now if I want to crop it, the simple function is to, 1, select both, so now they're both selected, and then follow that with the crop function. And so I know the keyboard shortcut, but if I do Control 7, that should do it. Transform, it's not transform. Let's see. Well, actually I have to look that one up. But since I know the keyboard shortcut, I select both objects, Control 7, and Control 7 is basically like whatever object is on top will crop the image underneath. So there you go, there's cropping. I'm going to click on this, Shift Control left bracket, that sends things to the back. And just going to make sure I'm on my artwork layer. And I'm sending it to the back there. So adding an image, again, just Control Copy, Control Paste. Cropping an image, draw the shape over it, put it on top of the object you want to crop, select both, Control 7, and then lastly selecting a color scheme. So if you guys see, I've got this little kind of widget here, or these little circles here that are just sitting on the bottom of the page. And so because the color schemes that are included in the actual file is just an image, in order to get those colors, you're gonna actually have to use the eyedropper tool to inform those colors onto another part of the design, or in this case, by creating just a little scheme of these like circles at the bottom of the page, I can just have them in those circles so that if I need to get those colors again, they're going to be available and ready. So the simplest way is just select the circle, and I'm going to make a few more copies of this so I can pull like an extended color scheme out here. So I'm going to make more by holding Alt, clicking and dragging all those circles to the left. So I selected them, held down Alt, clicked and dragged. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this first yellow one. I'm going to hit I for the eyedropper tool, and with that yellow circle selected, I'm just going to pick this kind of like rainbow color scheme here in the upper right hand corner, and I'm just going to click in the red spot. So you can see that yellow circle turned red. I'm going to hit V, I'm going to select the next circle, I'm going to hit I, I'll click on the orange, I'll hit V, click on the next circle, click I, click on the next orange, and you can see I'm just going to continue getting my selection tool with V and my eyedropper tool with I, and making all those circles kind of pick up the swatches from this color palette here. Again, I can keep going. So V, I, V, I. Actually, that's the one I want. And there we go. So again, just by having those circles down there, if I want to copy and paste those on a separate layer or take them to a different file, they're now actual objects and they have those specific colors ready and available to use. Now if I want to start actually applying objects, so say I want to actually like create a shape or whatever, I can have that object selected. And again, you can go between either of the two. So I could eyedropper off of my little color swatches at the bottom of the screen, or I could use the same swatches to the right here in that image to pull different colors into my design. But the main thing I want to show is like how to actually use the eyedropper tool and select an object and apply that color to that object with the eyedropper tool. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for joining. Take care.